Welcome into Seahawks Today. I'm your host, Will Ortner, and I am going to give you 5 players that are going to help the Seahawks beat the 49ers on Sunday. Sometimes you need some key primetime performers to step up when it matters most, and these are my 5 that are going to step up for the Seahawks to win on Sunday. Remember, you love your Seahawks. You love this team. You want them to start the year 1-0. Remember, you can't go perfect on the year without going 1-0. And the only way to make sure that you help the Seahawks get that win is to give us that thumbs up and smash that like button. Now, our top performers are going to start off at the quarterback position and Sam Darnold. He is the most important player in the most important position. And that's not hyperbolic in this case. Sam Darnold is going to be the reason why Seattle's offense either looks like it's strong, cohesive, in midseason form, or it's going to be the reason why it sputters early. Sam Darnold has to be smart with the football. Now, obviously, throughout the entirety of his career, that is something that Sam has struggled with. That was an issue that he had in New York. It was an issue why he wasn't able to get out onto the field, and you saw him have to spend a couple years, one in San Francisco, where he was working as a backup. But last year, when he made the move over to Minnesota and he was with Kevin O'Connell, there was a change when it came to how he handled the football. He did not turn the ball over at a high rate like he had when he was with Adam Gase. He made sure he held on to the football if there wasn't an open receiver. Sometimes a sack is better than turning the ball over, but Darnold played at a top 5 level last year, finding multiple open receivers every single game. And frankly, if you got rid of the last 2 regular season games and the playoff game against the LA Rams, we'd be singing a much different tune right now about Darnold. I think that if he comes in to Seattle and he does not revert back to old Sam Darnold, you are going to see him play at a high, and I mean high level here in Seattle. On Sunday, if he's smart with the football and he takes what the defense gives him, you are going to see this Seahawks offense move to new heights, because what Darnold is going to be able to do is draw that defense in. He's going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups on the outside. I think the Seahawks are going to run the ball at a high level. That's going to make the 49ers add more guys into the box. One-on-one matchups. That means you've got Jackson Smith and Jigba on one side going one-on-one against a corner. That means that on the other side, you've got Cooper Kupp, one of the all-time greats, probably going to be a Hall of Famer in the NFL, in a one-on-one matchup on the other side. If Darnold is able to exploit those matchups and does not turn the ball over, Seattle is going to win this game on Sunday, and I think that Darnold will continue to perform just like he did last year in Minnesota. Now, my second primetime performer, we're going over to the defensive side of the football. I know that I have an issue at times of focusing on the offense. We're not going to do that because you need both sides of the ball to win championships and to beat championship contender teams, and that's what the 49ers are. So Boye Mafe has to have a big-time performance on Sunday. Now, I understand that there is still no official word on Uchenna Nwosu. Will he be ready to go? Won't he be ready to go? Head coach Mike McDonald is keeping that pretty tight-lipped. Whether he's ready to go or not, Boye Mafe has to take a gigantic step up as a pass rusher for this Seahawks team. In the offseason, you had a lot of experts. You had a lot of fans. You had people that were fans of other teams coming to Seattle and saying, hey, they need to get in the trade market for Micah Parsons. They need to get in the trade market for Trey Hendrickson. And me and a couple other loud vocal minority Seahawks experts said no. You have Derek Hall, and you have Boye Mafe, and you have Uchenna Nwosu, and you have DeMarcus Lawrence. That is a good rush unit. It can be a great one if Boye Mafe takes a step up. Now, we've seen him over the past couple of years have moments of pure greatness, right? Early on in that 2023 year, he had a couple games back-to-back where it was like, boom, sack every other game. I believe, if I remember correctly, he had a 4-game streak where he had a sack in every single game. If Mafe is able to perform at that level, like he was in 24 when he was hot, where he had a couple games in a row where he had sacks, you're going to see this defense in Seattle take the next step up. Because if they can get a true blue elite pass rusher, they are going to free up so many other options for this defense and for Mike Macdonald. It's going to allow Mike Macdonald to not be forced to draw up so many elaborate fire zones. It's going to allow Mike Macdonald and Ernest Jones IV to sit back more in coverage. If you can rush 4 and get to the passer, you are adding a whole new element to your defense because that's just your edge rusher being better than the offensive lineman on the other team. Boye Mafe has shown in flashes over the last couple of years that he can be that guy. I need him not to show flashes anymore. I need him to show once and for all just how elite he can truly be. And if he takes that next step for Seattle, they're not just going to be winning on Sunday. They're going to win a lot of dang football games this year. I need to get into the rest of my list, but before I do that, I got to talk to you about the HOF app. I've got it right here on my cell phone. The HOF app is the proud sponsor of today's show, and our listeners are going to get a 7-day free trial and 50% off their first month. Just download the HOF app and use code CHAT at checkout. Now, you know me, 12s. I love gambling on sports, responsibly, of course, but I struggle with math from time to time. And when I'm gambling, I'm always looking for an edge, and the HOF app gives me that mathematical edge. Sometimes I need help when I'm in the lab crafting up my bets, especially when I'm looking at some parlay action. I use the HOF app to find historical data and trends that I'm searching for to give myself the best chance to hit on my bets and parlays. We all have that one friend today, we're going to call him Steve, who is constantly complaining about losing a 4-leg parlay on their last leg. The HOF app can help Steve and you out. The HOF app crunches millions of data points in seconds to help guide you on whatever bet you want to place. The app is super easy to use. Now I don't have to rely on just my gut when making bets. I can use math and analytics created by Ivy League sports geeks to bet smarter, not harder. For a limited time only, our listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, but they also get 50% off their first month when they use code CHAT at checkout. Just download the HOF app on iOS or Android, enter code CHAT, and you're all set. You don't want to miss out. Now, I've got my top 2 performers already that I've ran down the list. Darnold has to perform at a high level. Mafe has to take a step up and become a leader, a pass rusher, an elite pass rusher in this league. He'll help Seattle take that next step. If he gets to Darnold multiple times in this game, not even for sacks, but quarterback hurries, Seattle's going to come out on top. The next place that I look, obviously, former offensive lineman, it's in the trenches and specifically in the run game. And to me, Kenneth Walker has got to show everyone that he isn't just rusty, right? He missed a lot of training camp. He was dealing with some different injuries, dealing with a foot thing. Last year, he missed some time because of injuries. I need Kenneth Walker to come back and shut everyone up, myself included. I've been standing up on the table for multiple times now, multiple videos, multiple weeks here at Seahawks Today saying the Seahawks need to use 2 running backs in a 2 running back system. What if Kenneth Walker just says, last year was an anomaly, I'm great now? What if Kenneth Walker goes back to what he looked like his rookie year, when all Pete Carroll and Schottenheimer did was make sure that they ran the football with K9? I understand that last year isn't entirely fair. He missed multiple games. He only played in 12. But 500 yards is not good enough. If you're going to be the main back, if you're going to be the feature back, 7 touchdowns is not good enough. If Kenneth Walker comes out and pounds the rock, follows this offensive line, uses Gray Zabel, Jalen Sundell, allows them to get onto linebackers, move the line of scrimmage forward, allows them to open up holes for him, I think you could see Kenneth Walker take a big, gigantic step back to what he was previously before last year. And then all of a sudden, we're all, myself included, singing a different tune about K9. We're talking about him, again, being one of the elite running backs in the NFL because that was the narrative around him beforehand. And I would love nothing more than to have to eat crow and say, nope, I was wrong. Kenneth Walker needs to be the bell cow. I think you're going to see him get in the end zone. He might not be the first one, but I think he gets into the end zone on Sunday. Now, my next primetime performer, I'm going back to the D, and we are going to talk about linebacker Tyrice Knight. Now, you've heard me talk a lot about his injury updates here on the channel while we've been going through training camp. Tyrice Knight obviously had to have some surgery in the offseason, clean up a knee injury. Then when it seemed like he was going to come back, head coach Mike Macdonald said, well, there's actually some other medical issues that Knight is dealing with as well. Knight is finally healthy. The injury report came out on Wednesday. Guess who wasn't on it? Tyrice Knight wasn't on it at all. He's going to be ready to go. No issues. Obviously, last year, he didn't become a starter until those final 8 games. The minute that he did, this defense took off. He was flying around, making tackles in the backfield, which isn't always the most likely thing to happen for a linebacker. If a linebacker is flying at that level, downhill, making plays like that, that's big for your defense. He's also a player that can be added in the pass rush. He's a fine cover guy. As a will linebacker, you kind of have to be. But when you can add a will linebacker in the pass rush and he gets home for sacks, you're just adding in a new element. Look, I know I'm the one already in this video who said Boye Mafe has to take a step up as a pass rusher. Sometimes you got to bring the heat. Sometimes you got to dial it up. And if you're dialing it up with Tyrice Knight, man, that seems like a fantastic spot to be in. This defense has to end last year and start this year like it ended last year. Excuse me. Easy for me to say. Tyrice Knight and Ernest Jones IV really took that defense to new heights at the end of the year. They were running that linebacking unit, getting everyone set up where they needed to be. And you saw this Mike Macdonald defense look more like we thought it was going to look like out when he got signed from Baltimore. Can you start the year hot? It's going to happen if Tyrice Knight can play exactly the way he was. You can't have any rust. You missed all of preseason. You missed all of training camp. You've got to be ready to go for prime time. Show me. Show me by flying around, making plays, and not missing tackles against the 49ers. Because if a couple tackles get broken, watch out. CMC is still shifty. He can get loose. The last player that I want to talk about, I've talked a lot about as well. This is a player, again, that I've had my eye specifically on because last year it felt like anytime there was a, what are you doing type of moment from the Seahawks, it was because of the offensive line, and specifically it was because of Anthony Bradford. The starting right guard for your Seahawks came out this training camp, and in this preseason, he clearly put more into his offseason workouts. He was in better shape. He is clearly a much greater attention to detail. He wasn't missing blocks in the preseason. In fact, multiple games, he was graded out as one of the higher offensive linemen. In fact, I believe against Kansas City, he was the highest PFF graded offensive lineman for your unit. Bradford can right a lot of wrongs on Sunday. There were multiple times last year where when you needed a big first down, he missed a block. When you got a big explosive play, he got called for a hold. It felt like he had moments and lapses in judgment at the worst opportunities. And that has led to a lot of Seahawks fans, including those in my mentions, saying, I don't care how he looks in preseason and training camp. Last year, he completely lost my trust. He ruined everything for me. I cannot believe and trust in Anthony Bradford. Well, the only way to earn that trust back is one game at a time, one play at a time. Continue to perform like you did against Kansas City. Continue to perform like you did in the preseason, and all of a sudden we'll be singing a different tune about Anthony Bradford. The offensive line as a whole, when you look at it, they need to play at a high level. Keep Sam Darnold up. Open holes for Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Show everyone that you can get into the end zone multiple times against this San Francisco defense. Robert Saleh, the DC over there, is going to have him loaded for bear, ready to go. Can this offensive line open up the holes and keep Sam Darnold upright the way they need to for you to win this game? Those are my top 5 performers that you're going to be looking for and that I'm looking for when it comes to the Seahawks against the 49ers on Sunday. I think all 5 of them can play at a high level. I think all 5 of them are going to play a key role in whether the Seahawks win or not. And frankly, you already know my prediction because I released it on the channel already. I think the Seahawks are going to win, and I think it's because all 5 of these players are going to absolutely ball out. Make sure you head over to social media. You can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. Not only am I giving you the latest breaking news as soon as Mike Garofalo released the information that Abe Lucas had signed his 3-year contract extension, guess who had his own tweet firing out? Guess who had his own video out within a couple of minutes of that? I did. And the quickest way for you to see those videos is by following me on X or on Instagram. I'm talking about the Hawks all day, and we can have a conversation when it comes to our opinions about the Hawks as well. All you got to do is just make sure that you're being nice. Until next time, I'll see you later.